After I left college, I was doing a part-time job where it was working with mental health people, but I was stuck in that job because there was really no space to grow, and the people that I was really trying to help was really stuck in their ways. And even though I tried to push and motivate them, you know, they wouldn't go anywhere, and it was really difficult. And I didn't want to leave the job because I didn't want to go back to sign-on benefits. So I left that job anyway, and I still refused to sign on. When the campaign of Israel came up in December, I decided to take part, and I told God that I wanted a part-time job. I didn't want to work at the weekends because I wanted to start my own business, and so that's what I needed to do. That's what I wanted to do. So I sacrificed the little money that I had coming in, which really wasn't much. I slept on the floor for a couple of weeks, and I was walking to and fro work to church. So as I said, you know what, I'm gonna have to go back and sign on. So as I went to go back and sign on, the agency called me and they said, oh, we've got this job, but you know, you don't need anything, just write 10 qualities that you have. And I was like, okay, they don't need no CV, no covering letter, they just wanted 10 qualities. So that was easy enough. So I wrote down the 10 qualities and I sent it off. They called me back for an interview. So when I got there, you know, I said to God, you know what, he has to help me. He has to help me get through this interview. This job is from him, then he had to help me out. So we played 2 games and we made a jingle about the place that we was gonna work in. And it went really well because I wasn't even nervous, or normally, you know, you'd be a bit nervous or a bit jittery, but I wasn't. I was really completely fine. And the woman just said, what hours do you want to work? Do you want to work weekends? She was just asking me what I wanted to do. She never told me what was going to happen. But then she said in the end, oh, if they think that they need part-time staff, because we don't take part-time staff, then we will take it. And if not, then we'll just tell you that you're not qualified. So I done a trial the next day and I got the job. But what was really, how God really showed me that I made a difference, was that I didn't go there with no ID. And there was people that came after me, and she point blank refused to see them because they didn't have no passport. I didn't go there with my passport, and she saw me anyway, and I got the job. So God honoured me and gave me the job that I wanted, and I'm learning many things through it. Today, so now I have a job, and I'm very happy. I don't work weekends, so they're free, so I've got time to sort my own business out.
And welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. The question I want to pose to you tonight is this: what makes you fear the most? What are you afraid of? There are people, as you know, and maybe you're one of them, they have a fear of spiders. Some have a fear of snakes. People have a fear of flying. There are so many and numerous fears that people have. But what is your greatest fear? Maybe your fear has controlled you to such an extent that maybe you don't even leave your house. You are taking medication for that fear. I remember, and I still do have like a fear, and I can trace the root back to my childhood. There's a fear of rats, because I used to see a big one, actually many big ones in our garden. And I saw a dead one, and my dad, he would take that rat, it was there in the shed, and I said I wouldn't go in the shed. So my dad, he dragged me out into the shed, he took the rat by the tail, and he put it in my face, and he told me to look at it. And I think from there, the fear got worse. I don't know if it was the rat, I don't know if it's because that life was no more and it was dead, but I have a fear of rats. I have a fear of them crawling around. And maybe something like this cripples your life. It holds you back and you can't move on. Maybe your fear of flying stops you from seeing family members halfway across the world. Maybe on a serious note, a more serious note, we're not just talking about fear of spiders or fear of flying. Those are important things that we must address. But what about the everyday things? What about fear of starting a relationship? You're afraid because of what's happened in the past, could happen again, and you end up being alone again. Some people have the fear of walking outside of their house, of going outside. I can't remember, I think it's agoraphobia, if I'm not mistaken, where that person doesn't go outside. Their home is their prison. That fear stops them. There are so many fears that people can have. And that's tonight's program. This is the topic for tonight. And we're going to be explaining to you how to address your fears. I have with me Esther on the program tonight. Hi, Esther.
Hello, Michael. How
are
you?
you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Do you have any fears?
I do. I have a fear.
Yes? What's your fear?
It's irrational and it gets me in trouble in the park. I've got a fear of dogs.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm trying to manage it because otherwise it's just going to make life very difficult.
Now, you were born having fear of dogs, right? It didn't just happen like that. I'm assuming something happened in your past with a dog or some dogs. Were you bitten?
Probably, I think so, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But why? What about those cute puppies?
Cute? No dogs are cute.
Nothing
When you
at
have
all.
a fear of something, it's never cute, like rats.
So has it ever stopped you? For example, you're coming out of your house and there's someone there with a dog. So you're not going to go through your gate until that dog is gone.
Yeah, I mean, my friends could tell you that it's all sort of fun and games and look, Esther's afraid of the dog, but it does actually stop me and it embarrasses me, it makes me feel insecure and it makes me feel really silly. So I don't really tell people.
Right.
Except everybody.
You've just told
millions
most of
viewers.
Europe.
Yes.
So that fear of dogs is stopping you.
It held me back.
Has held you back. Now, there are fears that hold many people back. So, what's the topic for tonight? Face the fear, right? That's what the topic is tonight. Face your fear. Go ahead and do it anyway. I would like to hear from you. We have the emails that Esther will receive. If you have any fears and you would like help, because fear is something that can be beaten, right? I remember my wife, she has a fear of cockroaches. Another one, right? Cockroaches. And she faced her fear when she actually faced her fear of having those cockroaches in a box, and she actually held it there. She didn't actually hold it in her hand. But the fact that she went and faced it was the stepping stone. It was a start to overcoming and beating your fear. So that's what it is. You must face it. And we're going to be speaking today to our guest who had a lot of fears. Fears that you will learn later on in the program developed because of certain things that happened in her life. And she became stuck. And that's what fear does. Fear makes you stuck. You can't move in your life. So if you are stuck in a relationship. You are stuck in a dead-end job. And that job is your security. You fear leaving that job or looking for something else. The dream is to have something greater. The dream is to have, someone who will love and cherish you. But then the fear comes and blocks you. If you'd like to give us a call and share your views, that number is 0207 686 6300. That number on your screen. You can also send your emails, and Esther will be reading out your emails live here on the program. That email address is help@findinganswers.tv. There are some famous people who have fears. You can look at the idols, the pop stars, the sports stars. Everyone has a fear. Take a look at this video now and see one of those high-profile stars who has a fear.
What does Will Smith fear? Is there anything
mice, man. I got a real problem with mice. I have a fear. I grew up, there were mice in my
laugh
house.
at you.
No, because it's a little bit funny. Because here's the thing, I'm cool with rats and possums and squirrels. It's the little ones that really get me. I just had some scars with childhoods with them things running across my feet at the wrong time. So I just can't, I can't deal with the mice, man.
Right, right.
Could you ever think Will Smith would have a fear of mice? There's mice, right? Mice. No, he's multi-million or probably billionaire, right? Very famous films, action man, gets the ladies, but then he has a fear, like me, of mice. So you see, and there are so many others out there that we look up to. And it just shows that we are human. And I'm going to explain later on how fear can in some ways be a good thing. How it can be a good thing. I'll explain more about it, all right? Esther, you've got some stats.
I do. I've got some interesting facts about fear.
Yes.
An estimated 10 to 20% of the population experiences a fear of flying. That's
Right.
probably very believable. Anxiety in childhood is normally and usually outgrown. Approximately 4% of the population suffers from arachnophobia, which is the fear of
Spiders.
spiders.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fear of flying, flying is one of the most safest ways to travel. But why is that? Why is that fear? You're more likely to have an accident in a car. And I think it's because, this is my assumption, we're on the ground and we travel all the time. Bus, tube, car, bicycle, and we go from place to place. So you would never think that you would have an accident, whereas you are alone, isolated, tens of thousands of miles up in the air, and there's that thing. If this plane explodes, if it crashes, there's no way I'm going to survive. So I think that's the fear.
Yes. It's also
of being in the plane.
It's a big hunk of metal in the sky.
Yeah.
And I think our brains can't quite deal with the reality of how much we can create, like how we can make things like that, but actually it doesn't make sense in our...
Exactly. Every time
instincts,
I'm on a plane, it's always, as the plane is taking off, I'm thinking, how is this big piece of junk metal lifting itself off the ground? But the thing is, sometimes the worst point is the taking off and the landing. But while you're in the air, it's like safe. And we don't hear many plane crashes, right? You don't hear about it. So sometimes we have to take a step back when we fear something and think with our mind, why am I fearing this thing? Why is this fear of moving on, fear of moving forward, fear of starting a new relationship, fear of ending a relationship, why is it holding me back? Why do I feel this way? Think about that. We're going to go for a break now. And as I said, if you'd like to give us a call and talk about your fears, we will have someone at the end of the line who can help you, right? An advice, even a prayer. Okay? So give us a call, write your name, get them to write your name, because at the end, I'll be saying a prayer. And a prayer can do wonders to remove all fear. We'll see you after the break, and we're going to meet our guests for this evening.
In life, there are problems that just hit you with a blow. Everything crumbles away, and the heartache never seems to disappear. Everything keeps going wrong. You are in despair. What do you do when your hope isn't enough? When your single prayer seems to return unanswered, and the persistent problem is still there? partner with God and make a chain of prayer. A Chain of Prayer is a weekly series of uninterrupted prayer and action to tackle the most stubborn of problems. Make the chain of prayer and turn things around once and for all. Don't give up. Make a chain of prayer. It works.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Finding Answers. Now we've been out on the streets of London to find out what people think about fear and what's the bravest thing they've ever done. So let's have a look at that.
You know, there's no stereotype anymore. Protect yourself, sometimes you probably do.
It will heal, but it will always...
They're humans, they have the ability to use their initiative.
Find it difficult to just be happy in this life.
Hello everybody, it's Esther Shepherd for Finding Answers on the Streets. Now, today I'm talking about fear. If I said to you, feel the fear and do it anyway, would you? Let's go and find out. So what is the single bravest thing that you've ever done? And it can be anything. It could be something you did today or yesterday or in your lifetime.
I saved a duck. I was at Hollow Ponds, which is just north of Walthamstow, and I realised in this beautiful lake there that this duck was in trouble. So I waded out into the lake to find it was drowning because it had got its head stuck in a Sainsbury's bag, plastic bag. So I released it, just let me release it, and lifted it out of the water, and the expression on this face is just amazing.
Probably bungee jumped off a cliff.
In terms of big things, bravest thing I did was to go travelling for 9 months, and Becky came along with me as well.
Drove a car over the Bailach, the pass of the cattle.
You drove a what?
A car over not over a cliff, but over just up a mountain path, really.
Bungee jumping over a cliff. That's something else that I have to try and do, right? And interesting because when you are facing something that you're afraid of, it's sometimes good to do it in pairs with someone else, that support there. And the person at the other end of this line is that support, is that other person to help you, all right? So remember, give us a call now, and we're here to help you. We're at the other end of the line to give you some advice and also to pray for you as well. So let's meet our guest tonight, Robina.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Our guest tonight is Robina Mbeyi, is that correct?
Mbeyi.
Mbeyi.
With M.
With an M. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening to you.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Yes, welcome to the program. Now, you had an issue with fear.
Yes.
All right? We're going to go to that in a bit.
Okay.
But you had some problems before that. You experienced a lot of problems.
Yes.
Which caused you to fear.
Yes.
So please tell us, and the people watching at home, what was the fear that you had? What went wrong for you?
My life was very depressive. I was sick. I had lots of problems around me. I had no home. I was depending on friends and family.
So let's start. What was the first thing that happened?
What happened because of it was immigration which started.
You were over here in this country?
Yes.
Yes?
I was, when I came up, my application was rejected.
Right.
That's when things started from.
Who were you living with over here when you first came over?
I was living with a friend.
Right.
Yes.
So there was no security for you?
Yeah, there was no security for me. When my application was rejected, that's where I started to say, how am I going to live? What am I going to do? Because when someone helps you, you don't expect them to help you for all your life. You think you want to start your own life. So when everything turned down for me, that's when everything started.
So this friend was supporting you all this time?
Yes.
How long was that for?
He supported me because my application was rejected within 3 months.
Right.
Then from there, he assured me that everything would be okay. We are going to fight because we had a solicitor. Everything is going to be okay. And that's where it was. But I was scared.
Why were you scared?
I was scared of being deported.
Right.
I was scared of being put in prison because at the time there was a lot of people who were in detention.
They were being detained.
Yes.
Yes.
So all of that I was thinking about. If they put me in detention, how am I going to survive there? Who's going to help my children back home?
Right.
Because I was trying my best to do, if I get anything, I save for my children and send them back home.
So that was enough? The fact that you had this immigration matter, your application was rejected?
Yes.
The fear of being detained?
Yes.
Was enough? So what did you try to do? Were you stuck? Did you do anything to try to change that?
I tried. We had a lot of friends who were advising us. We have solicitor to act on my case.
Yes.
But they sent more applications, but nothing. Everything was in vain. There's nothing come up.
So you mean you got rejected again?
Yes.
As you applied again?
3 times.
And you got 3 rejections?
Yes.
Okay.
I was rejected. When I was rejected, and there was no hope. And they told me in the future they will put you on sign on the police, and from there you'll be detained any time, because when you go there, and I had lots of friends who were detained and end up deported.
So that didn't help, right?
Yes.
Your close friends,
yes,
who probably came over here for a better life as well, to support family.
Yes.
They were being detained, and it's like, I'm next on the list.
Yes. Okay. I used to scared of police cars. When I hear these police cars on the street, I could feel like, oh, are they coming for me? Do they know where I'm living? You're scared of getting out of the house, traveling on the train. When you see anyone wearing uniform, you think that maybe they're looking for me. It was so scary, and it was very depressive.
Did you ever try to hide because you were illegal?
Yes.
Did you ever try to hide? You moved from one place to another, hoping that they wouldn't find you?
I didn't hide, because my friend told me, even if you, that's what was in my mind as well. Even if you hide anywhere in this country, there's nowhere you can hide. Even if you hide, they will get you. They know where you are.
Well,
that's how it was.
There are people who are illegal right now.
Yes.
And they are hiding, but they are doing things, I'm assuming.
That's how I was feeling. That's how my feelings was, and that's how my friend told me. Even if you get tired, you need to fight it. You need to fight, but it wasn't easy.
So your friend was actually giving you some good advice,
yes,
right? Let's not break the law. Let's try and do this the right way.
Yes.
And get a visa, get something.
Yes.
But it wasn't just the immigration situation. You mentioned about becoming sick. Did that come afterwards, or was there something else before?
Afterwards, because of that. That only made me sick.
The worry?
The worry. Because I started putting on more weight, and I started feeling sick all the time, headache, a migraine. I registered with a GP at the time, and I was told that I had migraine, and I was put on medication.
Why were you putting on weight? Was it the fact that you weren't active, you weren't doing anything, so you would just stay at home and eat?
Yes. That's how they told me, when you are depressed, you put on too much weight, because I feel like I want to eat more all the time. Then eating was my comfort.
Yes.
Yes. I put on weight, and I started feeling pain in my hip, my right hip. It was very painful. I couldn't even move.
Can you remember how much weight you put on because of it?
I don't remember, because it was like a sad part of the weight I had.
Right.
It was enough to provoke what I had, because my hip was not good. That's how I was told, because of the weight. That's when it started.
You came to the UK with no health problems at all?
I was normal.
What was your weight? if you don't mind me asking, at that time?
It was like a 59 kilograms,
Kilo.
58.
And you went up to what?
More than 71,
Really?
72.
In the space of how long?
It was between 2001 and 2004, 5. Between those years, that's where all the things were getting worse.
Your health was deteriorating?
Yes.
You were put on medication?
Yes.
And still you were illegal in this country?
I was illegal in the country. I worried about the sickness I had, because I had to go in hospital and to get treatment. And I was told that anytime they can stop that treatment. And I was walking on crutches. I couldn't move because of the pain I had. And I was defied in the big hospitals. I could move from all the hospitals in East London. I visited all the hospitals in East London. And I was put on the list of getting operated because the condition of the hip was getting worse. And they told me we had to operate on you. And I accepted.
You were going, did you go for the operation?
No.
Okay, we'll speak about that in a minute. But the idea, or the doctors telling you, we're going to operate on you.
Yes.
That caused you to have that fear more. That fear increased inside of you.
Yes.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking about end up in, because I was told after operation, because I was asking questions, if I get this operation, is it going to be successful? And I was told it's going to be like 50%. You may end up in a wheelchair. That's where I was like, the pain is there, I can't hold it anymore. And when I end up in a wheelchair, who's going to take care of me? Where am I going to be? And I had many people were deported, even on the beds.
Sick, you mean?
Sick, very sick. I knew that if I end up in a wheelchair and they deport me in that wheelchair, it would be even worse than before. I was worried about my family. I spent a lot of time without seeing them. I lost my beloved one back home. It was too much.
You lost family members back home while you were sick here?
Yes.
How did you feel not being able to visit them and see them? We maybe go to their funeral. How did you feel?
That caused me more sick. It was like I was in prison. You can imagine, lost your beloved one. You can't even go. You can't. Sometimes you don't have money to buy a card to call them. It wasn't easy.
How were your children in all of this? Because you said you've left your country.
Yes.
By the way, your country is?
My country, I'm from Uganda, but I was born in Rwanda, yes.
Okay. So you came over here. Yes. How old were your children that you left behind at that time?
Between them, or the young one or the older one?
All of them.
So the older one was about 18.
Yes.
17, 18. The young one was 11.
11.
Yes.
So all this time, who was taking care of your children?
My sister was there. When I came back here, when I turned up here in this country, you know, when you are a parent and you care about your children, you do your best. I used to save some money because I used to work to go to my friends' houses and do some work, like taking care of their children, looking after them. And when they give you something, you save and you send. That's how I used to do. But it wasn't enough.
So when you couldn't work, when you were, now you were sick, you couldn't send money back home.
My sister was there.
She was looking after you?
Yes, and my friend here was giving more support as well.
What, to send money back home to your children? But, you know, as a mother, you didn't feel right.
Yes.
Right? Because it's your children.
They take control of you, you feel like you want to do more and you don't do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, it's painful. There's no way I can describe it unless someone passed through that situation. That's where you can understand it.
Were you ever at a point where you thought, it's best I get deported and just go back home?
Yes.
When did that happen?
I tried after 4 years.
4 years of being here, yeah.
Yes, 4 or 5 years. And when I lost my brother, I felt like I want to go. I was, when I called my children back home, the situation wasn't good there. And I decided I told my solicitor, is it possible for me to get a ticket and go back home? My solicitor said, no, it's not like that.
So you can't just go back home?
No.
So it was like, what do I need to do, right? Do I have to wait for you to deport me?
Yes.
And that's what they said?
That was an answer, yes. You can't just go like that. And because at the time it wasn't easy because I had no passport. For people who had passport, it's easy. You just go to your embassy and ask for permission and later and just go.
So it's like your fear and your suffering was extended.
Yes, I was in prison in a country where there's freedom. I was, yeah, it wasn't easy.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Robina, can I just ask, why did you come here in the first? Were you looking for a better future for your children?
Yes.
What was the reason?
Sorry?
Were you looking to bring your children over with you eventually, or what was the plan with coming to the UK?
Yes, I was looking for a better future, and my plan was like after 1 year, maybe 8 months, I'll be able to bring them.
Yeah.
When I turned up here, it was different.
How many years did you spend here without them?
9 to 10 years.
9 to 10 years?
Yes.
A very long time, right?
Yeah.
Very long time. So you missed a very important part of your
Part of
children's
years, grown up, yeah. Yes, it's right. The pictures, even they send pictures, not enough. You need to see them. Their birthdays, going to school. They were in schools away from home. Because before I used to visit them every other 3 months, I couldn't manage to do that.
Yes.
So it wasn't easy. It's painful.
We are going to go for a quick break now. You're going to find out after the break what was Robina's worst moment and how she overcame the fear that she was experiencing. And while we're having this break, if you have a similar story or situation to Robina and you would like to share with us, you'd like to talk to someone either on air or off air, feel free to give us a call, okay? If you like your name to be placed for our prayer list, for the prayer tonight afterwards, then give us a call as well and include your name and include the area where you are facing fear. It could be something, could be anything. It could be something like Will Smith said, fear of rats, fear of flying, and you don't want that fear to control you. Or maybe like Robina, it could be a situation where you feel stuck with a job, in a relationship, stuck in your health. You're fearing the worst. So please tell us, we'll write it down, we'll include your name for the prayer at the end. We'll see you after this quick break.
All right, real quick. Here are 4 unrelated stories, all with a common bond. First, let's go back to November 20th, 1982. For the 85th time, Cal and Stanford are involved in a heated contest. After a wild game, Stanford, led by young John Elway, takes the lead with just 4 seconds left. The Stanford fans and band are already celebrating, and why shouldn't they? The game is over. One final play begins as Stanford kicks short to Cal. A mad scramble ensues. Laterals follow near tackles, then a blind over-the-shoulder lateral. A mad race to the end zone. Down goes the Stanford trombonist as the touchdown is scored. The unthinkable happens and Cal wins. As it turns out, it wasn't over. How about this one? Meet the Lillies, Russell and Terry. It's 2001. Their 10-year marriage has been a constant source of frustration. A vicious cycle of selfishness, fighting, and isolation has left them both exhausted, angry, and done. Never mind the vows. Never mind the 2 young boys. This one is beyond hope. This marriage is over. Following their divorce, Russell becomes a follower of Christ, and Terry begins to notice the transformation taking place in Russell. Hardened hearts soften. The relationship begins to heal. Forgiveness is sought and granted. In 2007, they remarry. The one that became 2 is now 1 again. Then there's Raylene Kuferschmidt. It's January 2008. Ray suffers a cerebral hemorrhage. Declaring her brain dead, the doctors remove her breathing tubes. Knowing that it's over, the hospital releases Ray to her family so she can be taken home to die comfortably. Meanwhile, Ray's family plans her funeral. But someone forgot to tell Ray that it was over. At home, Ray suddenly wakes up. She's checked again by her doctors, who cannot believe that she's still alive, much less alert and healthy. Funeral plans have now turned into vacation plans for Ray and her family. Logically devoid of hope, legally divorced, literally dead. Everyone thought it was over. It's not the first time. Flashback almost 2,000 years. A man claiming to be the long-anticipated Messiah is unfairly accused. Offered up to the lying crowds by a Roman official, the supposed Savior is flogged, mocked, tortured, and beaten. He is nailed to a tree and crucified. He dies and is buried. Hopes that he is the Messiah fade away. It is finished. Friends scatter, disciples hide. Evil celebrates, and for 3 days, it is over. But on the third day, there's an empty grave. Evil has lost its victory. Death has lost its sting. Suddenly, miraculously, the only thing that is now over is hopelessness. 4 stories, 1 message. It's not over, even when it's over.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now let's just show a quick clip on the subject of fear.
Why do we fear? Well, we'd be walking into oncoming traffic, stepping off rooftops, and carelessly handling poisonous snakes. The purpose of fear is to promote survival. Fear seems to hold us back far more than it protects us. Perhaps it served a purpose for cavemen, but it seems like it is something that we shouldn't really have anymore. So, is fear an irrational, useless, outdated feeling? Most of us have never been anywhere near the plague, but our heart will skip a beat at the sight of a rat. For humans, there are other factors involved in fear, beyond instinct. Human beings have the sometimes unfortunate gift of anticipation, and we anticipate terrible things that might happen. Things we have heard about, read about, or seen on the television. Most of us have never experienced a plane crash, but that doesn't stop us from sitting on the plane with white-knuckle grips on the armrests. Anticipating a fearful stimulus can provoke the same response as actually experiencing it. Even the most courageous people have fears to overcome. However silly the fear or phobia may seem, are you afraid of something tangible? Something like spiders or heights? Here's a couple of interesting facts. Jennifer Aniston, Cher, and Whoopi Goldberg all have a fear of flying. Orlando Bloom is scared of pigs. Anyway, whether your fear is holding you back in life or just making certain situations a little tricky, it's worth remembering this. Fight your fears and you'll be in battle forever. Face your fears and you'll be free forever. Lucas Junkman.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. So just to remind you, please do let us know what area of fear that you're in and what's holding you back. Our email address is help@findinganswers.tv and our phone number is 0207 686 6300. Now, like I say, today we're talking about fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway. We've got Robina in the studio and she's been telling us so far about her fears. She's had very serious fears of deportation, not seeing her children. And Robina, I would like to ask you, what's been the lowest or the worst points so far on your journey?
The worst point was when I was told that I'm going to be operated on my hip.
Okay. So you had to decide whether or not to have this operation.
I had to meet the surgeon. Before that, I was so scared because I didn't know what will happen after.
Why were you afraid?
Because I was told that it will be maybe end up unsuccessful operation. You may die, you may end up in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. That will be the end of me. Because I was thinking about having a successful life, bring my children here, maybe staying with me, or going back or helping them in their education, and everything will be shut down now, I was going to lose everything in my life, maybe losing my life as well. It wasn't easy for me.
So this operation was going to determine what was going to happen for you and your family.
Yes.
And usually when we're faced with the decision for an operation, it has to be solely because of your health.
Yes.
But in your case, you had your children and everything else involved, so it must have been very difficult for you.
So the fear dominated all my life together. I was living in prison. I was totally out of control. I was living on medication, visiting doctors every 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes, and the medication I was taking was bringing more problems as well. I developed ulcers.
So it didn't help you at all?
No. It was causing more problems to problems. When you take medication, you get another thing. When you go back, they give you more medication. So it was like that.
We're going to go to the bit where you found your answers, right?
Yes.
So you were going through all of this, like you mentioned before the break, but you found help.
Yes.
And you learned to face your fears.
Yes.
And this is hope now for you who are watching us at home. And you are hoping, you are wishing for change in your life. And you don't know what to do. So pay attention now to what Robina is going to say, because maybe it can help you, all right? Or lead you on the right course to finding the help that you need to overcome your fears. So Robina, you found help.
Yes.
What happened?
I visited a friend, and I found a magazine at my friend's house.
You went to your friend's house?
Yes.
A magazine was there?
Yes, the magazine was there.
A magazine about what?
A magazine was about the church. And I picked it up. There was a girl on the cover, resembles my daughter's resemblance. I said, oh. Then I picked up because of that. Then when I read it, it was a magazine from the church, and I read the testimonies of the magazines. There's a lot of people talking about the church, how they overcame their problems. And there were lots of people who are having the same problem like me.
Which was what? The immigration,
Immigration
the health,
sorted out, the health. I saw people who were walking from the wheelchairs. I was so amazed when I saw the magazine, and I told my friend, do you like this magazine? She said, I was going to put it in the bin anyway. You can take it if you like it.
She was going to put it in the bin?
In the bin.
But you decided to take it?
Yes.
Now, did you think that, you know, these stories in that magazine, did you ever think it was fake? Did you think these were made up?
I couldn't believe myself.
At first?
Yeah, at first. I wanted to meet those people because the way they were putting their names, where they came from, where they live, at the end, I said, it may be real. I can meet these people and ask them how they overcame these problems.
So did you go along to the church?
There was a numbers at the end, at the back of the magazine.
Right.
I called the number straight away when I get back home. And spoke to someone.
What did they say to you?
When I spoke to someone, I booked an appointment. They told me I have to go there face to face. There was no way they can help me. I need to go there. And I booked an appointment. I remember the day was Tuesday.
So there was an actual place?
Yes.
The place where they said to go was real?
Yes.
Who did you meet there?
I met a pastor of the church. He was very kind and nice. Since I had all those problems, I never met someone like that before. Right. Because I never had someone who feel like, they don't feel sorry, but they assure you that today is the end of the problems. Because I was crying, he grabbed a tissue and gave me a tissue and said, Robina, wipe your tears. Today is going to be the end of you crying. That's
what he said to you?
That's how he said. I never had someone say that, because they always tell you the more problems. You just started. That was my life. But
so he said to you, just hearing your problems?
Yes.
This problem will be solved.
It will be solved.
This will be the last time you're going to ever cry.
Yes.
That's strange, right? Because he only just met her.
Yes.
But yet he's telling you, stop crying in it.
Yes.
Did you tell him about the fears you're going through?
I told him it was too much. I didn't tell him everything at the time. He told me, because I told him one by one. He told me, you can't work on all of them at the same time.
Yes.
We need to pick one by one.
And that's what, Robina, that's what normally happens.
Yes.
When you have so many problems and you're trying to find a solution, not to one of them, but you're trying to find a solution for everything. And sometimes you don't find a solution to one. But he used his mind
Yes.
And he said, look.
Advised me.
Let's break it down.
Yes.
Let's tackle on the biggest one or the most important one right now. And what was that problem?
It was a sickness.
It was a health problem.
Yeah, because he told me even if you sort out your immigration and you are sick, you won't be able to enjoy it.
You won't be able to enjoy your stay if you're sick. So what did he advise you to do with your health?
He gave me a card, which is the card you put the problem you want to sort out. And he told me to come on Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
Tuesday is a day for
the healing prayers.
Yes.
And he told me that I have to come for 7 weeks. I don't need to break that. I have to pray. I have to use my faith. There's people who will be able to help me during that period of time.
So I'm assuming when you have a problem, your mind is everywhere.
Yes.
Now he's telling you focus.
Yes.
On your health.
Yes.
On Tuesdays.
Yes.
7 Tuesdays.
Yes.
In those 7 weeks, did you see any difference? What did you see in those 7 Tuesdays?
In those 7 Tuesdays, I learned that medication alone is not enough. Even if you take medication, you need to have faith, even in the medication you are taking. Because it's not just the church, as the other churches I used to go, because I was going to the church anyway. But they teach you how to manage yourself, not depend on others.
Right. So it was your faith.
Yes.
You were taking the medication, but you were learning to use your faith because the medication wasn't helping, was it?
No.
So the advice was take your medication.
Yes.
But also do the prayers and use your faith.
Use your faith and believe.
When did you see a sign? When did you start seeing things changing?
I started because at the time I was going to see my surgeon for an operation. At the time I came to the church. I came with my crutches. And the changes came after 2 weeks.
2 weeks, what did you see?
It was just two Tuesdays.
What did you see?
I could feel like I could walk without crutches.
So everywhere you're going, you're walking with crutches?
Yes.
And then 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays, if I can say that?
Yes.
You stopped using the crutches?
I stopped using crutches.
Did that mean the pain had gone?
No, it get worse because leaving crutches behind, it put more weight on my hip.
So why did you do it?
Because I was advised to use my faith because the crutches put more like thinking that I'm sick. I can't move forward.
So he didn't force you?
No, it was an advice.
It was your own decision?
Yes.
Okay.
They used to advise us to use our faith. That the faith has stepped forward.
So you let go of the crutches?
Yes.
And you started walking
without them.
When did the pain go?
The pain go, I discovered I was walking. There was no more pain tonight because I used to have a sleepless night because of the pain. I could sleep.
So when you started walking with the crutches,
yes,
the pain started to go?
Yeah, the first day, the second day was too much.
Yes.
Then it eventually started going story by story.
How long did that take for it to go?
It was like 3 months.
3 months?
Yes.
Of you using your faith?
Using my faith.
Walking without the crutches?
Yes, and participating, following everything I was advised to do in the church.
Yes.
Because there was more advices, there was a lot of sacrifices and everything we are doing there. Everything comes, I used to do it.
Yes.
And then the crutches was gone, walking by myself without them.
So in 3 months, you received your healing?
My healing.
What about the immigration situation?
The immigration situation started, I started acting myself.
Yes. What did you do?
Then depending on, I was advised to write letters.
To the sister?
To write to the Queen, to write to my MPs, to write to the Home Office as well.
Now, why did you think of doing that before?
I was scared.
Fear?
I have fear. If I write this letter, I'll let them know where I am.
Right. But you were advised,
yes,
do something.
Yes.
Write a letter to the Home Office,
yes,
the Queen,
yes,
whoever it needs to be.
Yes. Do it by yourself. Don't depend on solicitors.
Right.
I started doing by myself.
Which you were doing. You were depending on solicitors before, but
yes,
nothing was happening.
No.
So again, the faith aspect came in.
Yes.
If you received your healing, you know, why not go for
confident.
You were confident now.
Yes.
The fear had gone.
Yes.
Because you took action.
Yeah, on Tuesday I added Monday because I had to get another card for Monday.
Right.
Yes.
So you're working on your healing. By that, later on you got your healing.
Yes.
But now you're working on Mondays
my immigration.
now. My immigration.
Yes.
To cut a long story short, how long did it take for you to get your stay?
It wasn't easy, but I was going step by step.
Yes.
After starting writing letters, the reply came because I never received any good letter than like what I received at the time. Because I found the church in 2003, 2004 I was focused on my healing. 2005 I started my immigration. 2006 and 2007 I received a letter saying that they are going to work on my case, but they will reply me in 2011. They gave me 4 years.
So that was the first time you got something positive?
Yes.
When did you get your stay?
2009.
2009?
Yes.
You have your papers?
Yes, my passport at the same year. 2009 I received my stay, and 2010 I received my British passport.
And now you are legal in this country?
Yes.
No more fear?
No more fear.
Your children today?
My children are happy. They're all in the church, in the presence of God. They're doing well. Their education, I can manage to help them. I have a home. I'm no longer homeless.
You're working?
I'm working. I can support myself, support my children. My family has changed a lot.
And you've got your crutches here in the studio?
No crutches anymore.
No crutches.
I'm not sick. I'm not sick.
You are healed?
Yeah, I was healed completely.
Yes.
Yes.
So, here's evidence of someone else whose life has changed. And from this, you heard, she faced the fear. Fear stopped her from applying to the Home Office. Fear stopped her from using her faith. When she used her faith, she received her healing. And that's what fear is. I said to you about fear being a positive thing. You know, what do I mean by that? We all have this fear mechanism in us. If we don't fear, fear protects us, right? Fear is like a protection. It's like a guard to protect us. But if you see that different type of fear which holds you back, it's that fear that we're talking about, I'm talking about. It's that fear that stops you from moving forward in your life. And you know what? You know what the solution is to that? It's this. This. If you've been a regular viewer of this program, recently you'd know what this is. The special campaign, the greatest of all campaigns. This is for you who are not afraid. This is for you who want to see your dreams materialized. You want to see what you have not ever seen yet in your life materialized. The campaign, the greatest campaign of all campaigns. We're going to take your request to the Temple of Solomon, which is a replica of the big temple, the great temple that was built by Solomon in Bible times. It is completed already. We're going to be taking your requests to where the temple is in Brazil. The same God that heard the prayer of those in the first temple in King Solomon's time is the same God that's going to hear your prayer at the temple that's been built by a man with a vision, a great vision to build a temple, which was Bishop Macedo. If you would like to overcome your fears, you want to beat your fears, then this envelope will be for you. There's still time to take this envelope and write your request and find out what you need to do. Give us a call if you like more information, okay? And we'll be able to tell you how you can obtain your envelope. You took one of these envelopes,
yes,
right? Not just now, but before. You've took part in these before.
Yes.
Does it work?
It does.
It does.
It
did
does
you use
work.
it to get your status as well? Or
yes,
your
I did.
You did?
Yes.
And can you say that this works?
It works.
It works.
We need to use your faith.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what you need to do. Fear, you can overcome it. There's a difference between fear and courage. Fear can hold you back. When you are courageous, you still have fear, but you still act. You still move in order to get what you want. So Robina, I'm sure you were afraid, Robina.
Yes.
Taking the crutches away.
Yes.
But you had to have courage that every step you took, even though you face pain, I'm going to beat this. I want my healing.
Yes.
There was a fear there, but you became courageous.
I was told.
You were afraid
Yes.
to apply or write letters to the Home Office.
Yes.
But it took courage to do that.
Yes.
So we're all afraid. We can be afraid of certain situations. As I said, it's a mechanism inside of us. It shows that we're alive. It shows that we're human. But what God is looking for is courage. Courage to act, to achieve the things that you want. We're going to go for a prayer. We don't have time, I'm afraid, for the mail of the day. But we're going to go now for the prayer. If you want this courage, get your glass of water ready, because I'm going to be praying with Robina right now.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer for your general well-being, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, Lord, fear is what controls many people. It holds them back from making decisions. It held Robina back from writing, doing something with the immigration situation. If she didn't use faith, if she didn't hear that word from that pastor to use her faith, maybe today she'll be in a wheelchair, she'll be back home in her country, living a defeated, sick life, still with her dreams unfulfilled. And maybe, my God, this viewer is living a defeated life. This person whose dreams have not been fulfilled because of fear. That fear has held them back. My God, I ask you, even though they fear, when they'll drink this glass of water, give them courage, as you did in the past with the men and women of the Bible. They were afraid, but they still went ahead anyway and faced enemies, faced giants, faced great armies when it seemed the impossible would take place. But you were there with them, just like you were with Robina. You gave strength in her legs. You gave strength to her hips. You opened doors with the immigration situation. So this person who has any fear now, fear of heights, fear of spiders, fear of the dark, fear of starting or ending a relationship, fear of changing jobs, fear of that decision, making a decision in their lives, strengthen them now, my God. So I bless this glass of water in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Drink this water now, and this fear you had, let it be washed away from you in Jesus' name. Robina is one more example of someone who found an answer. If you are afraid, if you were, I should say, afraid, I say to you now, be courageous. Be strong in your decision now. And do what she did. Start acting. Start doing something now, even from tonight. If not tonight, first thing tomorrow morning, start doing something towards your goal. Don't live in fear, but be courageous. All right? It's been a pleasure being with you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for another Finding Answers. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.